Greetings everyone, and welcome to the Everything You Should Know series. On today's episode, we're covering Ridge Racer. Let's get started. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Everything You Should Know series. Yes, I said series. It appears these videos are doing well enough that it merits having its own. So, on today's episode, we're covering Ridge Racer, and this is the second racing arcade 1-up cabinet to come from the brand, despite its very pricey tag, and there's a lot going on with it. It's also the first 3D racer, so if you want to get Daytona USA down the road, wouldn't be a bad idea to possibly support this if it finds a cheaper price point elsewhere. So, let's go ahead and get to the games list. So for the games list, Ridge Racer is thankfully a 5-in-1 cabinet. The games in question are Ridge Racer 2, Ace Driver Victory Lap, and Rave Racer, which isn't in the copyright list at the bottom of the page for some reason. This 5-in-1 setup is pretty nice to see, and for the most part will make for a pretty nice selection, actually. Although this cabinet is quite similar to Outrun in its general design, the cab is set apart from Outrun with a drop-over marquee, a headphone jack on the control panel for audio, and other bits that make up for the standard driving experience on Arcade 1-Up so far. What this cabinet won't have, however, is a sit-down release. This was confirmed by John D in a recent podcast. A rumble feature is also included in the steering wheel, also a first for these machines. And you are already aware of the brakes and shifter. Unfortunately, the hardware isn't far enough along yet to do a proper Wi-Fi based multiplayer race, so you won't be getting that on this machine. Instead, you will be getting the standard high score fare from Arcade 1-Up's live system that we've been seeing since NBA Jam. Otherwise, pretty lacking in the online department, and unfortunately this is probably going to carry throughout several cabinets. I think the only one that's going to have online multiplayer besides the Big Blue would be Killer Instinct. While details have been scarce on the launch price of this cabinet, Ridge Racer is currently retailing on Wayfair for a rather harsh $800, and the current pre-order price on the Arcade 1-Up Direct page is also $800 potentially. Now, prices could hopefully come down in the coming months, but we're getting so close to original cabinet prices here that Arcade 1-Up may unfortunately price themselves out of the market on these things. While details for this cab are, once again, all over the place in regards to the retail launch date of this cabinet, Ridge Racer is looking at a pre-order date of November 22nd, 2021, and Wayfair, the only site that seems to have the cabinet hosted right now, has a back-in-stock date of February 2nd, 2022. Obviously, Walmart, GameStop, and others could retail the cab for less and obviously have a more likely release date of late November to early December, but that's about all I've got at the moment for today's video. Did you know that cars in the Ridge Racer games are decorated with logos from various other Namco games? I know that wasn't a very fun fact, but Ridge Racer is kind of being revived through this release, as it did kind of die back in the PS3 days. Regardless, that brings an end to today's video, and we'll see you next time when we talk about Killer Instinct. Have a good one.